Hello, Mark.
Добрый, my friend. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Привет, мой друг.
There you have it. A normal airport, lots of tourists with their suitcases, and somebody's meeting someone. Everything is normal, just another typical day. Dmitry Savchenko and his guests look like participants in some international conference. Indeed, they are normal modern people with their jobs, families, and usual worries. But no one around knows what they carry in their suitcases and what awaits them in a few days. This is the Tournament of St. George that takes place in Moscow. Not a theatrical production, not an imitation, but a real medieval knightly tournament. It's held according to the 15th century's rules. Moreover, if there were a knightly world championship, this would be its most important stage.
The solid lances worldwide have only 3 main tournaments. There's like the St. Ives in Australia, Saint Michel in France, and St. George in Russia. And St. George is the biggest of all, that gathers the most number of knights, the most number of people, and a lot of different reenactments and stuff. So it's a very big event that gathers a lot of talented people. And the joust, we can say that it's the more hard than the 3 tournaments.
Jousting is the main discipline of the tournament, the embodiment of a knight's duel.
Listen! Laissez aller!
Браво, браво, браво! Великолепный удар!
Usually, when people recreate a knightly duel, like in numerous American shows, they use balsa to make a part of the lance that faces the opponent. Balsa is fragile, shatters beautifully, and makes the battle much safer. Here, everything is completely different. These are solid wood lances made of fur, replicating medieval originals. You can only break one of those by hitting the opponent with a very powerful and accurate blow, and only if they miraculously don't fly out of the saddle. Therefore, the selection for the tournaments of the 3 saints is extremely tough. Only experienced knights in the best armor are allowed in. However, all ammunition and clothing must fully comply with the realities of the 15th century.
The Tournament of St. George is a great honor to participate because the best jousters on the planet attend to this one. And it's the most impressive and the hardest one of all the tournaments there is for solid jousts.
Marc Hamel is a former Canadian military man, one of the most experienced participants in the tournament. He knows the subject. On the first day of the competition, he had to face Andrey Kamin, a Russian jousting star. After this course, the word stands for crash in jousting, Marc Hamel ended up in an ambulance. And here we come to the main questions and answers simultaneously. Who are these people and why are they doing this? The very same Andrey Kamin was the immediate person to ask.
What happened to him? What did I hurt him?
Подышать ему нужно, остудиться, подышать, чуть-чуть, снять кольчугу. Снимите с него операцию, парни.
Сейчас снимем. Сейчас как раз снимем.
Все нормально.
The doctor's verdict is severe, repeated TBI. Marc Hamel has to be removed from the tournament. This would be the last of the opponent's worries in any other contact sport, but not here.
I respect him. We competed in Australia last month. I gave him the first TBI. Maybe it's not a tragedy for St. George tournament organizers, but it's a very big problem. Any eliminated participant of the tournament is an emergency situation. He arrived here with health problems, and this situation harms the common cause.
Marc Hamel is a Canadian military man, and Andrey Kamin is a firefighter from St. Petersburg, Russia. But they have a common cause. Only a few dozen people worldwide are involved in the reconstruction of medieval knightly tournaments. And this is not about sports, or the perfect reconstruction of the 15th century armor and rules. This is about recreating the atmosphere of the real tournament with its chivalry, rivalry, and nobility.
To be a knight, you'd have to know that it's an all-rounder thing. You have to be good on horse, you have to be good on fight, but you have to be good here and here. You have to be good with all the people, good with the ladies. You don't just have to be a brute that will fight and win all the time. If you win all the time, but in a bad manner, someone can say, yeah, he won by the points, but he doesn't have the value and all the things that make a true knight.
Menou is a stuntman. Some participants of the tournament are professionally engaged with horses, but most are engineers, programmers, and businessmen. For them, it's just a harsh and dangerous hobby, and this danger brings them closer together.
It's cool.
I like this.
Yes, yes.
Cool.
In this circle, everyone knows each other. Knights are constantly meeting in tournaments around the world. They share information and help each other with ammunition, and the equipment in this matter is a headache. Each element of their armor is a dedicated historical study. Most often, they have historical prototypes. Every armor is made individually. Moreover, artisans who can create authentic medieval armor are rare. Sometimes a knight collects their set of armor for years. The whole set is worth about the same as a used car. There are also weapons, shields, and saddles.
With leather part, with wool, with all belts, but without stirrups.
Yeah.
It's 2,000 euro.
Equipment is taken seriously here. Coming to the arena, the knights literally trust the equipment and one another with their lives. A metal point of a tournament lance resembles a crown. Serrations on its tip are designed to catch the armor and to get stuck in it, rather than piercing through it. But these few centimeters of metal end up on the tip of an all-wood lance, accelerated by a knight and a horse with a total weight of more than 600 kilos. And there are two lances that are on collision course. Sometimes even the highest quality armor cannot withstand it. Therefore, for this circle of people, nobility and reputation are not just abstract concepts. Sometimes a knight sees the opponent not quite ready for the strike. For example, their horse is disobeying, or there might be a problem with their ammunition. The knight must raise the spear so as not to injure the opponent or the horse. All of these decisions must be made quickly in a split second. This sport gives self-control and the ability to control emotions. Because believe me, passions run high, everyone starts making mistakes. Another important side, rarely accessible to an ordinary person, is the relationship between a knight and a horse. A battle horse is a rarity. This animal is specifically selected for its temper and outstanding physical condition. Horses are trained for years. The horse must have a fighting temper to go into a collision without fear. Therefore, one of the most important qualities of a knight is the ability to build relationships with these beasts.
Like brothers. Like brothers. He
he did exactly as I asked him at every single point, and he never refused. And as a rider, you cannot ask for any more than that. So you have to be able to understand why the horse is behaving the way he does. Just like us, he has feelings. Not the same as human feelings, but he has feelings nonetheless. And he will want from the rider confidence. But confidence in a nice way. You don't need to be cruel.
Organizers of large international tournaments usually provide horses to foreigners and non-locals. So, working out a relationship with an unfamiliar horse is always a particular problem. Participants try to work as long as possible with the horse they get. Therefore, at least for a week before the tournament, the knights live at the horse base in Khrabrovo near Moscow, like a cheerful nightly order. People from St. Petersburg or Belarus are bringing their own horses, which gives them a real advantage. But horses are more nervous after a long journey, being in an unfamiliar environment. This is why knights try in every possible way to protect their horses from stress.
The big screen near the arena was the surprise for my horses. Horses was afraid of it at the first time. It's not comfortable for horses, it distracts. It was surprise. But grooms help us. I had ride on young horse yesterday. He prepared, but he had no participate in so big events. It was first time for him. A lot of people, big screen, loudspeakers, he froze, did not want to go. But guys, grooms helped, and even young horse, who first time competed with the solid lances, he was ready to do his job.
Considering all this, the incident that happened on the first day of the tournament shocked everyone. At first, the duel between Alexsey Malinin and Menou was going well. They exchanged some tremendous blows. Alexsey has been warned for the low position of his lance. An experienced Russian knight, he corrected himself, conducted the next course brilliantly, and earned another point. However, he made another mistake. Alexsey took too low again and touched the opponent's horse. Thanks to the design of the barrier, the equipment of riders and horses, this happened for the first time at the tournament. Just like in the Middle Ages, nowadays such mistakes are considered unforgivable. Even considering that Alexsey explained his mistake with new rules.
How do you feel now? Of course I feel like shit. I did not want to do this. It was the first time in 10 years for me. How did the other knights react? Of course they will mock me. It was messed up. And I hope they will forgive me. And I hope they will fight with me again. They have seen that I am so inaccurate. They will be afraid to trust me, their horses. Heavy reinstatement? Yes, I will try to return their trust for many years, if that is possible. Maybe it was my last time on St. George.
Reputation in the nightly tournament is earned for many years, but it can be questioned in a split second. Alexsey is one of the most experienced Russian knights, but even this did not save him from the immediate disqualification. To be honest, we have some unforeseeable circumstances. The rules punish severely a mistake like this. Because of this, we have lost a fighter on the first day. A failure of an experienced knight opens an opportunity for another. Only 12 mounted fighters participate in the main standings of the tournament. But jousting, fighting with lances on horseback, is not the only discipline. There are also foot battles. It's easier to get there, so there are more participants, and no one can fight in individual standings. Ilya Savelyev is one of the fighters. Since 2003, Ilya has been involved in historical reenactment, but his experience in jousting is quite limited. He is still considered to be a squire. He hasn't yet passed the selection for the St. George tournament, but in foot combat he feels much more confident.
I try to demonstrate my technique, my speed, and so on. I tried not to injure my opponents. I wanted to show my skills. What is your dream? In what kind of discipline do you want to progress? It's easy, I would like to prove myself in jousting, of course.
Giving this speech, Ilya did not know yet that he was destined to replace the disqualified Alexsey Malinin and get a chance to prove himself in jousting at the largest tournament in the world. But he began to earn points in foot battles already. It is also largely due to sheer luck. One of the duels is a meeting of old friends. The organizer of the tournament, Dmitry Savchenko, and the past tournament's champion, Andrey Kamin. Unfortunately, Kamin again injures his opponent.
How are you? I don't know. I will talk with judges. Let me fight for you. Doctors say I have a severe hematoma.
Nobly, Andrey Kamin replaces his friend in a duel against the newcomer, Ilya Savelyev. An additional fight without the time to rest did not go easy on the favorite of the tournament. Based on the results of all rounds, the judges determined the equality of the fighters. So the Dame Court decides on the winner in favor of Ilya Savelyev, who miraculously gets into the general standings of the tournament.
Remove the flower. Give flowers and then take away the victory. Such women.
The tournament's favorite is expected to recoup on melee combat, perhaps the most colorful discipline of knightly competitions. A melee is an equestrian group fight, a team against a team, imitating a real battle after the first clash on lances. The fighter's task is to take away the banner from the opponents and keep their own. Wooden maces are used as weapons. Dmitry Savchenko, the tournament organizer, proved himself the best in the melee. He captured the banner from the rival team, giving him a reason to shout his motto. I am here. Andrey Kamin was not there. Right before the melee, his horse had been injured, and he watched from the sidelines how his friends scored points. Unlike the tournament's favorite, who suffered one failure after another, Ilya Savelyev succeeds in everything. He performs in melee and scores points in skill at arms. Then he earns additional points by removing the ladies' rings. Amazingly, the newcomer manifests himself in jousting, as he dreamed, breaking spears against the shield of Dominic Sewell, one of the legends of the knightly world.
Laissez-aller!
Браво, браво, браво! Прекрасный курс, великолепный удар в исполнении Ильи Савельева.
Replacing the disqualified knight, finds himself in the tournament finale among the best fighters on the planet. Meanwhile, Andrey Kamin, no matter what, is still the favorite, especially judging by the great applause. The audience has no doubt in his victory.
Андрей Камин под флагом кавалерийского братства.
The tournament finale is based upon the play-up system. If you lose a fight, you're out, and your opponent goes on. Andrey Kamin meets Pavel Kolenkov. One collision, another one, the third, the fourth, but they are even. And then an incredible thing happens.
Браво! Браво!
Pavel Kolenkov breaks his spear, hitting the tip of the opponent's lance, not him, and knocks the favorite out of the further struggle. In the meantime, the newcomer, Ilya Savelyev, who has caught his courage, defeats his opponents one by one, breaking his lances and shields.
Браво! Браво! Наши аплодисменты Илье Савельеву за превосходно сломанное копье.
At some point, the newcomer loses all his shields. And who do you think lands him another one? Andrey Kamin, the defeated tournament favorite.
Прекрасный жест. Вот так символически Андрей продолжает участие в турнире.
To much surprise of the defeated opponents, the shield brings the debutant of the tournament to the super finale. He beats out of the saddle the venerable Pavel Kolenkov.
Put the camera away. Put the camera away, please. Thank you.
In the tournament finale, the debutant faces Dmitry Sventitsky, an experienced knight from Minsk, Belarus.
Наши аплодисменты.
One
Какой
inconclusive
драматичный
collision
финал.
follows another. Ilya Savelyev already proved by that moment that he had not entered the tournament in vain. He's shown his skills, stability, and good fortune. However, in the decisive third course of the final duel, the knight must pull it together at once.
Готов? Дмитрий Свентitsky, готов? Лесалей!
Давай! Давай, давай, давай!
The audience is delighted, but the marshals of the tournament are confused. This is what they call the true Cinderella story, but in this case, a story of a squire who accidentally got into the tournament, reached the final, and right here has become a knight.
Как результат того, что Илья Савельев побеждает в турнире Святого Георгия.
Moreover, he was knighted by one of the most famous jousters on the planet, Dominic Sewell.
And you arise as a knight of Russia, a champion!
This is not a setting, not an imitation. This is a real knightly tournament which took place in 2019 in Moscow. This tournament is not a sport, not a competition for the best medieval costume and armor, but a training of the best human qualities that seem to have begun to leave our world.
As soon as it's over, I go back to normal life. But some of the values of a knight helps me in everyday life, like honor, support, brotherhood, respect, and stuff. These is values that are really strong in these tournaments, and in normal life, if you live by these rules as well, it makes you a better man, a better person, I guess.